Did you know that in a small town in the United States, people live on average 10 years longer than the rest of Americans? What's more, they get sick much less often and enjoy good health even at a very advanced age. This is not a fairy tale. It is reality in Loma Linda, one of the few places in the world called a blue zone, meaning a region of longevity. In today's episode, we will discover what makes this community live healthier and longer. What choices allow them to keep their energy and well-being even when others already struggle with serious problems? Stay with me, because the answer may be surprisingly simple. Before we start, please remember that the information shared in this video is for educational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. Always consult your doctor or healthcare provider before making any changes to your health routine. This community is the Seventh-day Adventists, who in the United States live in a small town called Loma Linda. Of course, this community also lives in other parts of the world, not only in the United States. However, in this town, concentrated in one place, it was a unique opportunity to look closely at what makes this group healthier and longer lived. Let us first present the evidence that this community truly enjoys longer life and excellent health. A scientific study from 2001. The title reads, 10 Years of Life. Is it a matter of choice? It continues. Commonly observed combinations of diet, exercise, body mass index, absence of smoking, and hormone replacement therapy in women may explain the difference in average life expectancy of up to 10 years more among Adventists. So let's compare how long the population of the United States lives in general, and then how long the residents of Loma Linda live. As we can see, the average life expectancy in the entire United States is almost 78 years. That is exactly what the current data shows. And how long do Seventh-day Adventists living in Loma Linda live? Let's check. Loma Linda has one of the highest life expectancies in the world. Residents are 10 times more likely to reach 100 years than typical Americans. The average man in Loma Linda lives up to 89 years, and the average woman up to 91. Both are 10 years longer than the national average. So exactly 10 years longer than the rest of the country. Let us now look a bit closer at this community. Let us ask, what secret lies behind their longevity? Is there something that sets them apart from others? Yes. First of all, a very important factor influencing this is their diet. For members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, their body is something special, something to be cared for. And very importantly, it should be nourished with the healthiest food. The church, in addition to teaching spiritual life in harmony with nature and society, puts a great emphasis on health and diet, including adherence to consuming appropriate foods. The church advocates eating mainly plant-based foods. As defined by the book of Leviticus, the community diet focuses on whole grains, legumes, vegetables, fruits, and nuts. Of course, it also suggests avoiding some animal products. But importantly, about 50% of Seventh-day Adventists follow a fully plant-based diet, while the other half occasionally include what is called clean meat. What is clean meat? Pork, for example, is considered unclean meat, while chicken or fish can be considered clean. Some also accept foods such as eggs, but animal-based foods are eaten much less often than plant-based foods, so diet is the main factor influencing their health. Apart from that, it is a combination of factors such as a healthy lifestyle, with regular physical activity, good sleep, and strong social relationships. These are the keys to their remarkable health and long life. And in today's video, I will focus mainly on diet. Why? Because here we have a wealth of incredibly interesting information. In 2014, a scientific study appeared that precisely examined the dietary patterns of this community. Thanks to this research, we can look more closely at what their diet looks like. Let us quote this study. A 2014 study titled Vegetarian Dietary Patterns in Mortality and Adventist Health Study 2. In the summary, it reads, in a large American cohort, we found that vegetarian dietary patterns were associated with lower mortality. This evidence suggests that vegetarian or similar diets with reduced meat intake may be associated with lower mortality, and should therefore be considered by individuals making dietary choices and those offering nutritional guidance. This study included 96,000 Seventh-day Adventists. It examined the relationships between diet, lifestyle, lifespan, and disease. This community, whose diet is rich in plants, including whole grains, legumes, vegetables, and fruits, turned out to have a much lower risk of premature death through reduced risk of diseases such as diabetes, obesity, hypertension, atherosclerosis, heart attack, and stroke. Interestingly, every breakfast in this community looks almost the same. It consists of a mixture of 9 grains, including hard red winter wheat, soft white wheat, oats, whole barley, corn, millet, flax, rye, and whole barley. Every breakfast also obligatorily includes nuts and fruits. So why does the Adventist diet, consisting mainly of plant foods, lead to longer life, fewer premature deaths, and chronic diseases, and, as we will discuss shortly, a lower risk of most cancers? One answer is fiber found in whole grain products. Fiber, which belongs to carbohydrates, feeds gut bacteria, which then produce short-chain fatty acids. These short-chain fatty acids produced in our intestines have a major impact on health. They reduce the risk of many chronic diseases, regulate and improve metabolism, have anti-cancer properties, and act as anti-inflammatory agents. The study determined that Adventist men consume on average 45 grams of fiber per day, and women as much as 47 grams per day. In addition, men obtained about 224 milligrams of vitamin C from their diet, while women about 250 milligrams. The main sources of fiber in this community are whole grains and legumes. These plants are rich in complex carbohydrates, and since fiber is part of carbohydrates, these foods are also rich in fiber. Let's now see how the amounts of vitamin C and fiber consumed by this community compare with the guidelines set by the World Health Organization. They consume 250 milligrams of vitamin C daily, while the current standard recommends only 80 milligrams per day. That's 4 times less. The WHO also recommends 25 grams of fiber daily, while this community consumes twice that amount. So the conclusion is clear. Now let's make a short summary. We already know that Seventh-day Adventists live in different places around the world, including Loma Linda in the United States, where they are concentrated. They live 10 years longer than the average population. They have a lower risk of many chronic diseases. We also know their diet is mainly plant-based, whole grains, legumes, fruits, and vegetables. They limit animal products, especially red meat. And before I show you the most important information, by how many percent their risk of cancer is lower compared to the general population, one more very important fact. This community cares for health in every aspect. They do not smoke tobacco. They do not drink alcohol. They care about good sleep, physical activity, social relationships, and not only the variety of foods, but also their quality. In short, everything connected with a healthy lifestyle. So if you decide to take a step toward health and start changing your diet to a healthier one, eliminate processed foods, and enrich it with plant products, remember it is worth going further and also giving up bad habits that can negatively affect your health. Let us learn from the experience of those who are healthier instead of from our own mistakes. And now the information many of you have been waiting for. How does the incidence of cancer look in this community? We have data. Let's read together this scientific study. A 2019 study titled Lower Cancer Incidence and Mortality from All Causes in an Adventist Cohort Compared with the U.S. Census Population. The results state the main findings from these comparisons are significantly lower mortality rates from all causes and cancer incidence in the Seventh-day Adventist population, 30% and 33% lower respectively, and lower incidence in particular for breast cancer, colon cancer, rectal cancer, and lung cancer, by 30%, 16%, 50%, and 30% respectively. Does this study need further commentary? Probably not. In summary, the diet of Seventh-day Adventists, rich in whole grains, legumes, fruits, vegetables, along with reduced consumption of animal products, plus a healthy lifestyle, is the only secret behind the longevity and health of this community. And finally, dear viewers, so that no one thinks these people are imaginary or just a myth, let me remind you, this town in the United States exists, and these are real people whom you can meet, touch, and talk to. If this video gave you even one helpful tip, consider subscribing. It's the easiest way to support this channel and make sure you find more practical advice right when you need it.